Welcome to the stream. We are in a upper bracket Timespinner Randomizer match. We got Baddymassindex on the left. We got Tonberry James on the right. I am Jim the Eternal, and with me here is SEZ. Zed, how you doing?
I'm doing great. This is going to be a really fun race. I know you are going to be personally invested in this race,
A little,
seeing as
yeah, a little.
how the winner of this race goes on to play you in the next
Mm-hmm.
round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are in the I believe it is third round of the upper bracket here. So both of our runners coming into here undefeated, and whoever doesn't make it out of this match is going to be in the second chance bracket. Um, but for now, we have two very scary runners here facing off. Baddymassindex and Tonberry James, both 100% runners of this game, so they have a lot of experience. I believe this is Tonberry James' first tournament season with us. I know Baddymassindex has been in these tournaments for several years now. Um, but Baddymassindex has told me that he kind of looks up to Tonberry James as a speedrunner. So I think this is both of them are gonna be feeling a little worried about this match, I think. But that just makes for some really great gameplay.
Yeah, Batty, I mean, both of them being 100% runners are very technical when it comes to this game.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's no surprise that they're both feeling a little bit of nerves. They both look at each other and go, there's not much room for technical mistakes here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the odds-on favorite is Batty Mass. He did have a higher qualifier seed, but it's close no matter how you slice it.
Nether Orb
And
Plus, we will probably not be seeing other orbs. Nether Orb
yeah,
is really good.
Nether Orb is a great orb. It is a source of blunt damage. Although the portals that it creates, you may have seen one or two of them while they were knocking down the dummy, is a source of chaos damage, I believe.
I
Um,
do believe that's correct.
And then Jin Inferno as the spell is really solid. Jin Inferno, even though it's neutral and not plus, so the damage for it isn't boosted by the damage randomizer, it's still the most powerful spell available. So unless they find one of a few other boosted spells, something like Bombardment Plus, or one of a few other like very narrow spells, we'll probably be seeing Jin Inferno almost exclusively in boss fights.
Oh yeah. There are a handful of spells that you want to use. Uh, you're probably looking at Colossal, either of the Colossals as one of those big spells for big damage.
Hmm.
Bombardment is another one of those great spells. And as we were just mentioning, um, Jin Inferno is another one of those great
Hmm.
spells.
Yeah,
And it has
absolutely.
a glitch which makes it even better, which is kind of insane. Basically, so long as you cast another Jin Infernos before your first one like despawns, your aura is refunded, and you just get to keep casting it.
And speaking of important spells, our runners have already picked up Light Wall Plus. So Light Wall is, in addition to being a solid damage spell, very useful, especially on fights where the bosses are immobile, is also our first source of infinite vertical. It creates a platform in midair that our runners can jump from. Oh my god, the progression is just
That's
coming
Oculus
thick
Ring.
here.
So Oculus Ring, one of the flags that we turned on this year is the fact is the I Spy mode, meaning that we cannot break breakable walls without that Oculus Ring. Moot point now, since both of our runners already have it, but it's been a pretty big source of routing decisions um, in other matches in the tournament. Won't be seeing much of that here,
Yeah, I finding it
unfortunately.
this early just completely negates the entire flag set, so that's cool.
Yeah, that was an arm cannon plus. That is
Hmm.
a pretty solid spell. It does both radiant and sharp damage. So
Uh,
definitely one of those neat ones. And it also implies that we have a gun plus out there somewhere, which inherits pretty well from damage rando, as we've mentioned
Yeah,
earlier.
so the
That
way the
damage
damage
rando meta.
randomizer works is every orb has a plus, neutral, or minus associated with it, and is either doubled, cut in half, or left alone. Separately from that, gun and plasma have their own separate damage boost associated with them because they weren't getting a whole lot of love.
A
Which
water
means that
mask.
a plus gun orb is a really fantastic source of damage if you're comfortable using it. It is a little bit awkward to use because of the range limits on it. It has a minimum range, but can hit all the way across the screen.
Yeah. We just found a water mask in the Caves of Banishment.
Wow, what a convenient place for a water mask.
And a gun orb.
And the requisite gun orb. Great.
We might see our runners swap to it. A lot of people like gun orb, but didn't use it because it was kind of bad. But since those buffs, if you really like gun orb, it's really good.
Yeah. I personally definitely a gun orb enjoyer, so I'm happy to see gun orb get a little bit of love on the main screen. Doesn't look like either of our runners are switching to it immediately, but finding that water mask, well, Baddymassindex hasn't found it yet, but finding that water mask in the not the Siren's Cave, the upper caves of banishment here is very, very convenient. That is what I would call this routing so far, right? We've been in here for not even 5 minutes, and this has been very convenient. No checks left behind. You got the Oculus Ring immediately. You got the light wall immediately. You got the water mask right there next to the water. So it's really easy to just come in and pick up every check all at once. No need to backtrack for stuff later on. That's very nice to see.
Yeah, it's been very good for Tonberry James, specifically, because he did get that water mask. I don't think we've seen a map check, so we don't know if Lake Serene is flooded, which might make the play to route that upper caves of banishment in with the Maw caves a little bit less what's the word I'm trying to use here?
Convenient?
Appealing or convenient, which is something a lot of runners will try and wait for when they're routing around.
It is very common to route the upper caves of banishment, like you said, along with, Bat Ledge and Celestial Sash.
And that is our better infinite vertical. No longer Aura hungry infinite vertical.
Okay.
And that was locked behind that water mask. That is
It sure was.
Advantage.
So this sidetrack for Tonberry James is actually really, really paying off for him. This was our first point of divergence, and depending on how the rest of the seed goes, may be the most important one. Tonberry James went down to the upper caves of banishment to find that water mask, and Baddymassindex just proceeded straight into the castle ramparts. So Baddymassindex is ahead in the castle ramparts now. You're already seeing him go through the basement loop, picking up some other checks here, while Tonberry James just entering the castle ramparts. But with the water mask and that celestial sash in hand, Tonberry James has a lot more mobility and a lot more checks that he can pick up. His routing is going to be a lot freer than Baddymassindex's.
The only check advantage he has is that water mask currently. But the fact that he is no longer aura restricted on being able to go up is huge.
Yeah. Wow, we even found a Radiant Orb in the basement loop, looks like, for Baddymass. So that's a pretty big find, too.
Yep.
Like Light Wall, it's the same orb, so it's plus. And it's a big kind of AoE effect. You can see the little yellow bursts coming out of Baddymassindex. Also, an orb that is very popular, both for the damage it deals, it's a late game orb, so its default damage is pretty high. And being plus, it's boosted even more. But also because of the damage type. It is the only primary source of radiant damage, of light damage. And a surprising number of both regular enemies and bosses are weak to that type of damage.
Yes, which makes it very powerful. I think there's all of 2 bosses that resist radiant damage.
I'd believe that.
And it's like Cantaran and Elena. Elena?
Ilana, I think?
I say her name different every time, I swear.
Well, we're always going to know who you're talking about. There's only so many bosses in the game.
Ooh,
Gas Mask for Baddymassindex. Wow, all of the progression. So here you can see Light Wall in use on the left side on Baddymassindex's screen. So, and an instant economizer ring. Good for those extended Light Wall climbs. So you can see that it creates this platform, right? But also you can see it's kind of awkward to use. It makes a solid wall in the air, which can, trap you in if you're not careful. And costs some aura in order to use, and is a little slow. compared to the Celestial Sash that Tonberry James is using, which just rockets you straight up. So all of this like kind of fiddly positioning and placing is costing Baddymass, a couple of seconds here and a couple of seconds there, and Tonberry James is just shooting through these rooms.
Yeah, it is a massive difference. Even just having our double jump item, which we don't have yet, the Succubus Hairpin, makes light wall climbs so much easier, so much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can tell that Baddymassindex is practiced with this, right? Like, he's got some very precise jumps here in order to minimize the use of light walls. So a place where you might need 3 light walls, he's got these precise little hops to get him to get up there in 2 light walls instead. And with the Economizer ring, the aura isn't actually going to be that much of a concern. You can see, he's placed quite a few light walls now, and his aura is down to 3/4 of its max. So he's sitting pretty there.
Yeah, the Economizer ring is huge for light wall climbs.
But no matter how you slice it, it's definitely slower than the Celestial Sash. So while Baddymassindex currently ahead in terms of their overall position in the towers, Tonberry James is going to be making up that time the longer they go without Baddymassindex having that Celestial Sash. Every second without the Celestial Sash is going to be a second that Tonberry James is moving just that fraction faster.
Yeah. Now that I think we're about done commentating about that. In our moat, we found one of our warp beacons, and it took us to Inner Ancient Pyramid. That is a part of our Unchained Key flag set, which means there are 3 items in the world that are capable of taking us to different positions in time or space. We have the one for the Ancient Pyramid. That was the Inner Ancient Pyramid warp. There's our past warp that was to Ma's lair, so maybe Baddy won't be in too bad of a spot having not found that water mask, since we have an entrance to there now.
Well, actually, that being to Ma's lair means that he might not get that water mask for a while. Like, he might just completely fade the upper caves of banishment and head to the Maw caves directly without worrying about whether or not Serena's flooded. So that's potentially a bad sign for Baddymass's routing.
The position I had on that was Baddy might clear Ma's caves, and then a lot of runners, even if they don't have the water mask, will route the rest of the upper banishment in with clearing Maw caves. So I was thinking that could be good for him.
That's true, and
assuming that Maw caves has no water in it, which would completely ruin that plan.
No, that is a good point. And once they're done with Ilana's towers, that's a lot of the vertical in the past cleared. So other places, the difference in their movement speed isn't going to be quite as stark.
Yeah.
Baddymassindex not warping out. I think he hasn't used a warp shard yet. Unless he's running back for Courtyard?
Yeah, it looks like he did not get Courtyard.
Okay. All right, then this is understandable. So what the this is just a lot happening. Game's moving very fast. So one of the benefits of coming to this area early on is the Merchant Crow, who sells warp shards in addition to some other randomized items. Warp shards allow you to teleport to your most recently used warp room, which is the fast travel mechanism of the game. But if you haven't gone through a warp, then you can't actually use those warp shards until you've warped. But in this situation, it sounds like that was just a check that he missed on the way up.
Yep. Or maybe intentionally did it. Maybe some lingering 100% routing.
Could be. I haven't watched enough of those speedruns to know it offhand, but yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Either way, we've got our warp shards now. While we were in the towers, we found a laser gate, another big flag for this year's tournament. Instead of the twins, Ilana and Ma disabling the lasers, we have 3 items to do it instead. So we have one of those 3. Not too relevant just yet, but a thing to watch out for. I missed where Tonberry James picked up the C card. Did you catch that?
No, actually. I wonder if it's a struggle juggle and Baddymass just didn't check it.
No, I believe that he got both of them. C
Interesting.
card was twins. Thanks, Yarno.
Ah, okay. Okay, so that means Tonberry James has made that twins cut off to the side. There's a short passageway leading to the Golden Idol location, and Baddymassindex didn't go that route. I'm assuming at all with the light wall in hand, but he might have gone just to check underneath the twins and not taken the boss fight, which is a pretty common play this year.
Yeah, like we said, with removing those lasers off of the bosses, a lot of those bosses lose a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
We see our first gear, our first of 5 pieces of the time spinner located in the elevator shaft after Maw, and Maw has turned into a lot of ravens.
Yeah, Tonberry James taking advantage of that Time Worn beacon, warping directly to the end of the Maw caves, and finding that first Time Spinner piece. As Zed mentioned, the Time Spinner pieces are MacGuffins for the game. So you have to have all 5 of the Time Spinner pieces in order to open the doors to the final boss. We're looking for 3 gears, a spindle, and a wheel. And the wheel provides the additional benefit of being the method that the game uses to track whether or not you can stop time, which is going to really help with movement in some boss fights as well.
Yep. If we find our wheel and spindle, that can be a replacement for our modern warp beacon, as we have a flag that allows us to warp from the refugee camp into the library. Basically, reverse vanilla access.
Man, both of our runners are moving so fast. We're spending so much time commenting on the flag set. I feel like we're missing out on the actual gameplay. So, Baddymass fought Ilana at the Cantorin location, and now is fighting one of the Nuviuses. I'm not sure if that's Prince or Emperor. I think that's Prince.
I believe that was Prince.
Yeah.
No beard.
At the Azure Queen location. Going through the top of Lake Serene, taking advantage of Jin Inferno as a fire source to burn the vines, which unlocks a few checks in the present once they get there. And now making some decisions. Yep, here it is, warping into the Maw Caves. So it looks like he's going to be going through the Maw Caves backwards as a result of Lake Serene being mostly flooded. And this is going to put off him finding the Celestial Sash quite a bit longer. So again, taking advantage of those light walls for vertical. Yeah, he's taking advantage of the light walls for vertical, but this is going to make routing the rest of the Maw Caves much more awkward. You can see Tonberry James kind of shooting up this sort of empty waterfall area, and that's going to be like a little bit of a little bit of a walk around for Baddymass.
Yeah, is either going to have to spend a lot of aura to go all the way up, or will more than likely do a entire loop around and come at it from the top.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, we're going up.
All right, I respect this. This is a good call.
You know what? With Economizer, it's way less intense on the aura. So I forget that we do have that Economizer ring.
Yeah,
My brain saw the Shadow Seal and was like, "There we go. That's the ring we have equipped," which was right next to that Time Spinner wheel. Very good.
Time Spinner wheel, a hell of a find, also.
Yep. So that's 2 of 5 for Tonberry James. We do have that time stop. We could probably find our spindle for modern for present access.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen one of that in the tournament so far. A new setting for this year, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think there's been 1 or 2 matches where it's been their logical modern access, but it's definitely not common. So it's very cool to see when it does happen.
Yep. Batty has a tablet, so finding that spindle would be very good for Batty.
Absolutely.
Where was that tablet? That tablet was somewhere in Lake Serene upper, or was it behind Azure Queen?
I think it was in Lake Serene.
Was it in the Lake Serene?
Yeah,
somewhere?
one of the rooms behind the vines. Tonberry James is going through Serene backwards, so coming up the Maw entrance and then going through Lake Serene from the left side. Fascinating routing in the seed. Wow, everything is just all over the place.
That water mask really has really made a difference. That early dip into the sealed caves.
Mm-hmm. D key card for Tonberry James in the waterlock checks in Flooded Serene. Baddymassindex now going after the Maw fight. Yep, with that gas mask in hand, might as well. And probably routing the upper caves of banishment at this point as well. But yeah, you can see Baddymass. Without the Celestial Sash, movement in this fight is going to be a lot more difficult. But using that wheel, using that time stop to make sure that he can get through without any of these little ravens knocking him off the platform. He can knock himself off those platforms perfectly well on his own. Thank you.
Yep.
It's a very difficult fight with single jump light wall, and Baddymass, in fact, giving it a miss for that reason.
Yep. Don't blame him. It's two checks locked behind it that we don't even have access to right now. What's the worst that could happen? And oh no, we're going to pyramid. We're skipping the water mask again.
Okay, well, the pyramid also, notably a place where vertical is very helpful. So single jump light wall pyramid is going to be a bit of a hassle. We'll see how much time Baddymassindex spends here in the pyramid. He might decide that this is just a one-off and then he doesn't want to check the rest of the pyramid. Or he might decide that this is his best bet. Oof.
I mean, we do have 5 checks for now, since we've got the one next to Sandman's door.
Yep, and he has the Oculus ring, so he could check Regret, which has been important in quite a lot of our other races. A very difficult to get to out of the way check, but
it's difficult. It's out of the way, and most importantly, it takes approximately 37 years to get to.
That's about right, yeah. So there's that tablet for Tonberry James. So Tonberry James very much catching up on the progression that he missed from all of the locations that Baddymass has already been.
That's modern access. Free Regret.
Ooh, okay. So we'll see when Tonberry James ends up taking this route, but Tonberry James is going to run out of other checks to make fairly soon. He's going through Serene here, and then he'll have a few more one-off checks, like... Actually, will he? Oh!
No, he won't.
Baddymass taking an unfortunate death in the pyramid. That's what happens when you get to this area. This place is a real hassle.
I mean, it is the end game area. Everything hits like a truck, and we're... I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're probably still a little bit underleveled. Wild concept being underleveled 20 minutes into a randomizer in the final area.
Yeah, almost as if that's not common.
I mean, it's common in randomizer.
It sure is.
Maybe not. Maybe not what the game was designed around, though. I don't know. I think I saw Lunar Ray Games in the chat. Did you ever think this was gonna happen to your game?
Oh, it's such a struggle watching these single jump light walls, the maneuvering with this place. The justices are such a pain to work around. Like, they hover in midair and they bolt for the side the moment that you're kind of in their range. And this single jump light wall is such a hassle. Oh, poor Batty.
Yeah,
and Tonberry James, yep, right there in the pyramid, and just zooming straight through these rooms. No problem. Just Celestial Sash, Newman right on past all those justices. No big deal. But Baddymassindex has one more chest to check here, and then he'll have to go back to Sirens, or the present, I guess, since he does have that modern warp beacon.
Died with it, needs to go pick it up again. Did not save after it,
so... right.
I mean,
died in regret.
We'll get back to it right here, but...
he has to think this is his progression. Oh no! He knows that it's important, but he doesn't know that it's easier to get if he goes to upper banishment first.
Well, we don't have any other... Well, I suppose getting the sash would make it a lot easier, but he's already here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This modern warp beacon does seem to be an important item. There's nothing at Regret, but Batty doesn't know that.
Oh, but he's fading it
Well,
anyway, which I think
Batty's
is a
just
good
gonna
call here.
say, yeah. I mean, we know there's nothing important.
I mean,
Uh,
so as a randomizer player, you hate leaving checks behind, right? Orphaning a check in an area that's hard to get to. Now you have to backtrack through that area later on, and it's going to take twice as long just in order to get that one check. But in this case, it's absolutely the right call, since Baddymassindex coming back there later on is going to be a lot quicker if he ever comes back there at all, since we both know that it's not an important check.
Batty didn't save. Batty lost the
He warped out.
or no. Sorry, I thought Batty had the C key card.
Nope. He still hasn't found it wherever it was.
Yeah, it might have been one of those underwater checks. I'm getting confused.
Right? But yeah,
so much
with
is happening. I feel like we
right?
can't get enough words out.
But with all of the maneuvering around, all of the single jump light wall versus celestial slash, I keep harping on this. But the reason I keep harping on this is now Tonberry James is ahead, right? Tonberry James has kind of been following in Baddymassindex's shoes for a majority of the seed, a little bit behind, and all of those time saves from Celestial Sash have caught up. Now Tonberry James is going through checks that Baddymassindex hasn't, and Baddymassindex is going to be following in James's shoes sooner than later.
Yeah, Batty is going to have to backtrack for all of the water checks, which James has already done.
Mm-hmm.
Still, like, ahead knowledge-wise, we haven't found anything of critical importance underwater just yet. Or at least it's not confirmed that anything
Other than the
underwater is of
sash.
critical importance. Technically, we don't need it.
Yes, true. That's true. Light wall is enough for our purposes as far as logic is concerned. But we do have a little bit of divergence here, right? We have our runners going in two different places. Baddymassindex headed into the Zarian Caves following that A key card, and Tonberry James is in Upper Desolation, not going down into this lower area. Although now he's following into the lower area, having gotten those upper. Just warping.
No, we cleared out lower. Succubus Hairpin. That could be what Batty needs to cover this gap again.
Absolutely.
Now has a double jump. If everything underwater is bait, Batty is in a good position again.
Mm-hmm.
Has extra vertical mobility that Tonberry probably won't. It's one of our bombardment.
Nice.
Sorry, my brain's all over the place. So much is
Yeah.
happening.
But yeah, so Succubus Hairpin
of-
providing that double jump is very useful. It also provides a little bit of forward momentum while you're moving around, which Celestial Sash doesn't. Celestial Sash kind of freezes you horizontally in place. So even without like comparing the two, having both of them is more beneficial than having just one of them. But double jump light wall is a lot more convenient than single jump light wall. So that'll ease off a lot of the advantage that Tonberry James has.
Yeah, thank you for getting that for me. My brain just
No
was
problem.
looking at everything
No
and was struggling to find the words that was the sash locks you vertically, whereas Succubus allows better horizontal plus vertical movement.
Mm-hmm. So Tonberry James taking the Cantorin at Boots fight, the feline sentry location, Boots, as is known colloquially, is the first boss of the game, thus very low HP for the damage rando, or the boss rando. Meanwhile, Baddymassindex is taking the Sandman fight at Zarian, which is one of the higher endgame locations. So
it's only got like 10 times the amount of HP Boots has. It's only a little bit more.
Only, yeah, no worries.
We
no
only
big
tacked
deal.
another 0 onto the end of that health bar.
But both of our runners dealing just absurd damage here, right? Tonberry James is smacking people around for 100 damage a hit. Baddymassindex throwing out these giant Jin Inferno fireballs. So it doesn't matter who the boss fight is, it's not going to last too long.
Yeah. I do believe I saw pink on Boots on Tonberry's side, and it despawned because he doesn't have it.
Oh, he might have just not bothered to pick it up. He might have not thought about it.
Bothered, but we have no pink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Batty's coming back.
Yeah, coming back for the Ravenlord fight with that double jump in hand and making short work of it.
goodbye.
Like, you can see the difference in mobility in this fight that requires a lot of mobility.
That was an Empire Crown. That's
Okay,
second gear.
so Tonberry James has found a spindle and a second gear while we've been yapping on about Succubus hairpin.
Yeah, Library's got the goods. And Batty is missing. Did not pick up the elevator shaft gear. Batty, no.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't. He fought them all and then didn't go back to the elevator shaft or back to the upper caves of banishment. So he still hasn't found that water mask, still hasn't found that sash. We know that he has a gear there. We know that he has a gear in the library. The spindle on the way to the library, presumably, or maybe also in the library. So a lot of pieces that he's going to need to make up. But I'm expecting to find the spindle that's here and the gear in the library relatively soon. Like, those are not checks that you skip.
Yeah, those will be on the way. Really, what we're worried about right now is that water mask into sash and the gear in the elevator shaft that Batty does not have.
Yeah, and the longer he fades Siren's Cave or the upper caves of banishment, well, we've already gone on and on about that. Tonberry James now in the Zarian Caves area, so the place that Baddymassindex just left.
We're just covering each other's steps.
Yeah,
so
and
Tonberry will have full movement here shortly.
It's true. And Baddymass in the upper desolation area. So they literally just swapped locations, and now they're going for the checks that the other ones have already made.
Yep. We also found a laser somewhere in the library, if I'm not mistaken.
That looks correct. Yeah, Tonberry James coming here after the library means that Baddymassindex actually has a bit of ground to make up now. And we'll see how that ends up playing out for him. But I think he is... I'm going to switch audio over to Tonberry James. I think at this position, Tonberry James is very firmly ahead, since now it's down to a single gear hunt for Tonberry. Whereas Baddymassindex... not only, there's a couple of pieces that he's going to pick up in the near future as soon as he gets through this fight and into the library, but he'll still be missing 2 gears to Tonberry's 1.
Yep, and that was Plasma Plus nonetheless on boots that Tonberry does not have. This could be bad if Yas Queen room is required.
So there is a room in the past which is gated by having any of the 3 items that use that plasma orb. Either the melee orb itself, the spell Plasma Geyser, or the ring, which is the Royal Ring. Tonberry going through that Sandman at Zarian location.
And we're going to see Yas Queen room. We've got Jerky and a Hydra.
Alright, well, doesn't matter.
Not important. Everything is fine. You got here, what is Batty forgetting to do? Water mask in upper caves of banishment has been the story, and water mask locking sash.
Wow, so Tonberry James has been holding onto this D card for the longest time. I remember him picking it up, and I remember making a mental note of like, oh, the D card is in this location, and I've completely forgotten where it was. I think it must have been underwater somewhere.
Yes. It was underwater, in the same room that I believe the water mask was in.
Okay. I'll believe that. Baddymassindex now going for the Golden Idol fight. I don't know if whether or not we saw Tonberry James actually take this fight.
We did. That's where the C card is. I finally remembered that this is where the C card is.
Got it. Well, with Plasma in hand and Light Wall Plus... Yeah, this is a quick fight.
We're just going to make quick work of this.
Did Tonberry James miss the breakable wall?
No. The B card was behind there.
Oh, okay. He's just coming back down since he doesn't have the elevator key and opting not to take that skyway over to the right side of the towers. Okay.
I might be grabbing the warp before doing that. Because does have a C card, can get across.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt for a second. Baddymassindex.
Tonberry's go.
Going through the sewers over on the left. Oh, he found the gear! Well, never mind. Yeah, I'm not interrupting anymore.
No, this is it.
Oh my gosh. Wow, what a quick seed. So where was that last gear? In Siren's Cave?
It was
Just above
to the left of the military hangar warp, just right up there. So that was
right on the critical path.
That was D&D locked.
Just ahead of where Baddymassindex is. Oh, and D-locked, so it's definitely down to missing that Siren's Cave. Or missing that upper caves of banishment.
Yup.
Well, Tonberry's gonna clean up this fight, and then the next fight, and that's gonna be it.
The next fight, this guy's weak to radiant damage.
Weak to radiant.
We will not be seeing too much of Barney.
Well, that has Tonberry James.
GG's! Exclamation points in chat.
Yep.
With an official time of 33:56. That was ridiculous. Or sorry, 30. Yeah, 33. I got it right the first time.
Yeah.
And welcome on in, Tonberry James.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good because of the new optimization to my routing that I have been doing. Actually paid off. I actually got water mask in the caves.
Yeah, that was a huge difference. So Baddymassindex still hasn't gone to the upper caves of banishment.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my god. He's been going this whole time without water mask.
Without water.
He's been on single jump light wall for the majority of the seed. He went to Zarian a little bit before you did and picked up the double jump. So now he's using that double jump light wall in order to finish checking regret. He got the modern beacon out of it and then warped out after dying to the justices.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understandable, right? Like,
yeah.
look at the traversal now with double jump instead of needing to do single jump light wall for regret. Like it's so much easier.
All for a cosmetic.
Yeah. And he has to know at this point that there's nothing left but those Sirens Caves. Or the upper caves of banishment.
Literally the only thing he has left.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna be kicking himself when he sees that sash down there.
No.
Well,
but yeah,
well, he's gotta be wondering how did I finish so fast?
Yeah, he must be. Well, I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Oh, he's going there now. I see it.
Yes, it is his last possible checks. So there's the gear. He just didn't do that because he activated the elevator. Knew he was going to come back here eventually once he got the water mask, which is in this next room.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter over much until he gets the water mask and the D card that is in this location. But then that gear will matter.
Yeah, we weren't too worried about that gear. It was the water mask and celestial sash at Waterfall, I believe it was.
I knew I had to take care of that right away, and I just hesitated. Like I was about to go to the castle. No.
I've mistaken where the D key card was.
It might be in the hook room, but it is one of the underwater checks, I think. But yeah, your routing absolutely saved the day for you, James.
Definitely.
Going to Siren Cave early, picking up that water mask, picking up that Celestial Sash and Waterfall, it made a huge difference.
Very huge.
Oh, D key card is in Serene. There's all the underwater checks in Serene. Baddymassindex going straight for Waterfall though, so he'll pick up that Celestial Sash and he'll realize just how behind he is.
Tackling Lake Serene the way I did was a little awkward because I normally don't go up it backwards.
Yeah, you don't usually reverse out of Maw Caves into Lake Serene routing. It's a very awkward position to start from.
But when you have the warp that takes you just straight to Maw and you have the gas mask, it's like, just do everything.
Yeah.
Go backward.
Yeah, I think that is the
Further.
first time I've seen it routed that way, right? Coming out of Maw into Serene, and then routing Serene as a part of that. So that was really interesting.
Especially when you get Oculus Orb that early. It's
Right?
like crazy.
Yeah, we had
Absolutely
Oculus early, we had Light Wall early, we had Water Mask early for you. And that kind of opened up the entire seed, right? Like at that point, no checks left behind.
At that point, yeah. Everything just spiraled. For me, at least.
Yeah, there was nothing that you had to leave behind because you had non-aura limited vertical and that Oculus ring. Well, you both had Oculus ring, which eliminated a lot of backtracking. That
I see a very questionable statement that was just made.
Oculus was not bait.
No, Oculus was required.
The key card was behind the Oculus ring.
Also,
which
present
was
access
required.
Was required for Oculus.
Present access was
There's that
behind,
key card.
was that Regret?
Yeah.
The first
And
was
yeah,
Zero
that
wasn't
too.
present, so yeah.
that one chest that usually doesn't have anything. I think this is the first time in a tournament seed that I have seen anything relevant at that first chest in Regret, instead of inevitably having Spindle or Gear 3 at the second chest.
Yeah, it was all just, where's present access? I've cleared out most of everything in the past. I might as well just full clear the pyramid. Because I have access. I have strong orbs.
Yeah, exactly. You were not bad for damage this seed.
Not
I mean,
at all.
starting with Jin's Inferno as well as that Nether Plus.
So I know Baddymassindex hasn't been paying attention to the race time room, so he might not be aware that Tonberry James is finished. But also, he is very close to getting the pieces he needs to just finish the seed anyway, so I think we can let him play this one out.
Yeah, at this point, he's going to get there. He just needs to get the B card, and then he's good. Which is locked behind Oculus
only had so many
again.
locations.
So Oculus was never bait this seed.
It was not.
Oculus was required for at least 2 things for progression.
Wild.
Yep, we're gonna see Batty pick up the B key card right here.
So actually, regarding the routing, Tonberry, if you don't mind my asking, what led you to making the early upper banishment check?
I've been doing early upper banishment because there has always been something there that I need. There's always been something there that I need.
Okay.
And also, I didn't want to bait myself into going to the right side towers like Batty's doing, because no elevator key card, you're going to need a warp shard out at bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what he finds there. This wouldn't be the first time that we found elevator key cards in a French vanilla location.
That's true. But also, I accidentally despawned Plasma Orb.
Okay, yeah, I was about to ask about that. Were you ever worried about that plasma despawn?
Very much so. I don't need this, as I'm sweating bullets.
Surely this won't be required.
So, Baddymassindex, as predicted, warping out of the towers and now proceeding from the library warp in order to go to the right side from underneath the towers. And then he will naturally find his 5th gear and be straight into the pyramid from there.
I wonder if he'll check the other chest, because I didn't. I'm
I don't know if it'll make much of a difference.
little curious what was in there. If it was anything relevant. All the folders, all the access was bait.
Yep.
At the very least. Didn't need to go into the military hangar. There's the gear, and
Yeah, we're not seeing the chest.
Nope, not seeing that chest.
No.
Last chest, completely irrelevant. I would expect that last that was actually the last available chest in the game, right? This is a last location for both of you.
Yeah.
Practically, yeah.
And almost a 10-minute difference in the final total just because of the order in which you went about getting your stuff.
Oh, Plasma was plus? Oh, now I wish I didn't despawn it. I would have used it.
Yeah, it was Plasma Plus.
Plasma Plus is so good.
So
Everyone
good.
loves Plasma Plus.
And this is going to be over in seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna see a baddie finish up, same way we saw Tonberry James finish up. Good old Radiant Orb. And that is an official finish time from Baddie in 43:29.
And we'll see if we can get Baddymassindex in here for the post-race interview.
This is another good example of these tournament seeds can look so very similar, but one small decision changes everything.
Yep. Baddymassindex, welcome. How are you feeling, buddy?
Yeah. The moment I saw Watermask, I knew what happened. So, GG,
Yeah.
James.
GG.
Yeah.
So, Tonberry James went to the Upper Caves of Banishment first, before Castle Ramparts. So he had Celestial Sash in hand while going through the castle.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. And your finishing time shows just how huge of a difference that was.
Yeah.
Like, almost 10 minutes between you in a 40-minute seed.
I think our race 2 or 3 years ago was the same. It was a light wall over a sash, I think.
Oh, man.
And James did everything with sash.
Yeah,
Oh.
it makes quite the difference.
Well, then I guess this turnabout is fair play.
I do think it's funny because I've only missed 1 year of the tournament, and out of all 3 tournaments, I have always faced off against Baddie and have won.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
But it was a fun
Whoa.
seed. I like. For me, it was single jump
definitely
light
a fun
wall,
seed.
and I like single jump light wall seeds. So I just continued and did everything like that.
Yeah, I tried to
So-
make a note of it. There were definitely some moments, like just watching the way that you placed your light walls and the positioning was very technical. Like, it showed a lot of practice.
Thanks.
Yeah. That economizer ring made it also significantly less bad since you were using half the aura for it. So that was also very nice of the seed. That at the very least it wasn't full cost light wall versus sash.
One thing I'm wondering, maybe someone knows that or it was discussed in chat. Do you know why, after my death and regret, I was placed outside and not
I
in
believe
the
that's
safe
a
room?
soft block thing. I don't exactly know why, but I know it's consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't run into that before.
Yeah, maybe I
didn't know
should have
that
not
was a
gone there.
thing.
Oh,
I didn't know that was a thing. So,
not intentional, but it is
maybe
consistent.
it's worth using that for rooting. Interesting.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean if you save scum out of regret, then you're starting outside and you don't have to go through the teleport?
I mean,
Yeah.
you could save time, but according to Waffle Soup, it's a bug and it's been reported. So maybe don't get too comfortable with that as a routing.
Okay.
Okay.
It's vanilla
Sad.
behavior, but it's definitely not.
Not intended, probably.
Yeah.
Well, a fantastic race from both of you. I think it very much shows off, despite the obviously apparent skill level from both of you, the huge difference between Sash and Light Wall as your only source of vertical.
Yeah.
So, Tonberry James, you will be moving forward in the upper bracket, facing against me in round 4, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yep.
You're
I'm
going to be
looking forward
some
to that too.
stiff opposition. Should be a good run. Baddymassindex, you are going to be in the second chance bracket facing against Gabriel J. Campos in round 4 of the second chance bracket. So that should be a good match as well. Gabriel's been doing some pretty good work down there. I think let's see, what was his path to get there?
He did very interesting routing choices that made him win over the other people.
Well, from what I can see on the bracket, Jim, you took him out in the very first round.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out where that was.
After round 1, it was Galileo MZX and Nochibato to get to second chance bracket.
Yeah, that race against Nochibato was pretty wild. Definitely worth going back to watch. Mm-hmm. So he's been doing some good work down there. So this should be a good match between you two as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We already have a time in mind, so after that I scheduled with Jim and Gabriel. So
yeah, you were on the ball. You were really moving forward. Well, I think that is everything I wanted to say. Zed, any more questions for our runners?
I got no more questions. Be sure to wishlist Timespinner 2. That's in development. Any final comments from our runners here?
The damage was nice. That was never an issue, and it was fun.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, you were loaded right from the beginning. Starting off with Nether was great, and then almost immediately getting Gun and Radiant and almost anything you could ask for.
My gun was good at 40.
Yeah, okay, yes. Your gun was late.
I never used it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I fought Ravenlord, I just went with old speedrunning strats of just using Forbidden Dome and just fire off from a distance. Why do I need to get close?
No, Jin Inferno is a fantastic spell, even at neutral.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to more Timespinner, and hope everybody wants to watch more.
And
Very cool.
more we have. I don't think we have any more matches.
We have
today.
2 matches currently scheduled. None today. There is one on Sunday and one on Thursday. So keep your eyes peeled on the Speedgaming Live schedule. Speaking of Speedgaming Live, we do want to give a quick shout out. Thank you, Speedgaming Live, for supporting Timespinner Randomizer in this way, for giving us this space to share this wonderful game with all of you. The SGLIVE, actual official live in-person event, the tickets are available for that, and they're also looking for volunteers if you want to go help with administration and tournament stuff at the actual location. So check that out if you feel like you are interested.
Yeah. So that's available. Where exactly is that for the on-site?
There is a link somewhere. sglive.speedgaming.org. Garrett has put it into chat.
Thank you, Garrett. But yeah, I believe that's going to be all from us.
So, final thoughts. Follow our runners. Follow your friendly commentators. Check out the Timespinner Discord, discord.gg/Timespinner, if you are interested in the Timespinner Randomizer. And thank you all for being here.
Have a nice day.
Have a good
Take
one.
care, everyone.